Hey folks, Green Stuff Gav here. Hope you all had a festive period and welcome back. We're back with another unboxing from Hatchet Partworks' Combat Patrol magazine. Now, if you haven't seen any of the previous videos, Combat Patrol is a magazine where Hatchet Partworks release an issue once a week, and you get all the different combat patrols, which is like a light version of Warhammer 40,000. We subscribe, so we get 4 issues all at once. Now, I don't know where these are with your local shops, but check with your newsagents, your supermarkets. If they're not on the shelves, ask, because there's been a lot of scalpers, because these are good value, and they tend to get put behind the tills. But we'll open it up, we'll have a look, see what we've got. Interestingly, we're in a brown paper parcel this time. It used to be black. And we've got Combat Patrol. So we've got 70, 69, the 68 and 67. Now, we knew 67 and 68 are going to be these, I don't know, Three Brothers Acolytes. Neophyte hybrids, apparently. I don't really know the Genestealer Cults. I remember when they were back in early 2nd edition. But the good thing with the Combat Patrols is it's all multi-part kit, or mostly multi-part kits. So we see we've got all these head variants, and loads of different weapons. Very good for Necromunda as well. We've got different style heads as well. So we've got some that are more humanoid, and then some that are more hybridy. Lovely little Tyranid banner. Because the Genestealer Cults weren't aware, but well, in the old lore, is when the cult would get big enough, it would send out a psychic signal, and the Tyranids would come, and they'd all be absorbed back in to the Tyranids. We see, you know, we've got some semi-human and semi-Genestealer details. A web gun, really cool. You got your shotguns, auto guns, a few different poses. So you see this guy's reloading. I imagine, looking at the torsos, they've got the flat edge on the both sides of the torso. So unlike a lot of Games Workshop plastics these days, these are actually true multi-part, where you can mix and match bits in. Really cool. Really nice detailing. Let's see what the magazine gives us, shall we? So, 67. Interestingly, these tear very easy, and they got hole punches, so you can just tear them out, put them in the folders in various orders, and that means all your instructions all together, all your painting together, all your fiction together. So, nice concept. I haven't done any of that, but so you see our assembled squad. The problem with Combat Patrol is you should build them exactly like this, but no one ever does. And they've done these little background things for each unit, and they're different for every unit, so it's really nice that they've added all this background. And you know, you can put your unit name, their deeds when build, paint and play them. And of note, their Combat Patrol sheet. I would like to have liked where it say what they're actually armed with, like one seismic cannon, one Weber, one stubber, however many firearms are left. But it just gives you these, so you're supposed to build them exactly as the picture, but it doesn't tell you how many. So we see, that's Acolyte firearms. So we've got, although it's shotgun and auto gun, they're just cast as firearms. He's got pistol, That's a firearm, 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 firearm. It's only really one pistol. But it doesn't tell you that, which I don't like, because it could be anything. Campaigns. So again, combat patrols are small forces, generally like 500-ish points at good and 300 if you guard. But it's got little like campaigns, so you can play scenarios, specific scenarios against 2 of the factions we've had. It gives you victories. This is good. This is something that the Genestealers get in 40k, where basically they could deep strike. So it's like a lot distilled version of it, but it's quite nice. Ambush markers. Hopefully we get them, because something that they don't give you in 40k. How to play the rules. Specific rules. Objectives. I like that Genestealer Magus. It's really quite a stylish model. Quite nice. I've seen loads of conversions for it. Haven't seen that art though. That'd be cool. Conversion. Yeah. So extra bits for playing combat patrol. Ambush markers. It's unusual that you've got to cut your magazine. Normally they put a little pre-popped out thing. Yeah. But they're really cool detail though. You see like little clip markers. Right. What we got? 68. And this is the rest of the sprue. That's a really tough plastic. So we've got a handful of bases. I think they're the 27s and 232s for the heavy weapons. So the rest of the sprue, we can see we've got the heavy weapons. Again, this one isn't used in the combat patrol, but it's used in the actual codex, which again, multi-part kit, so you can build them how you like. You've got enough weapons, just go full blob of acolyte weapons, whatever it's called. Always partial to heavy stubber though, from your Necromunda version 1, Necromunda 95. Yeah, some really nice detailing. It would have been nice to have seen like a other way conversion set. So you often get like Genestealer Cult bits to add to Imperial Guard to make them Genestealer Cult Guard. It'd be nice to have seen some alternate bits for these to make them into Imperial Citizens. Because presumably this is all just citizen attire. Oh, really cool. 68 gives us how to paint our hybrids. So we do get paints with these issues at some points. We see here, so they've gone for white and then just inking the skin to give that pale look. I really like these paint jobs are very achievable. Like, they're not heavy metal, they're not going to win any awards other than nice. But, you know, we can do this. This is sort of thing that anyone can paint, given time. But yeah, I like it. Gives you something to aspire to. Outriders, very cool models. I like all the vehicles that the Genestealer Cults get. Used to have the Achilles Ridge Runner in, or I think it's in the new Combat Patrol. And the Jackals. Cool little quad bikes. More story time. Silver Templars. More campaign stuff. So Eldar versus Genestealer Cults. Chaos Marines, who I'm currently assembling. New scenarios. So again, this is all extra gaming bits, and they've got big pictures, which I like. What happens win, lose, or draw. The next 2 issues are really cool vehicle, the Goliath. Got some objective markers. So these are all designed off the 40k terrain that they do. But it's really nice that, although they're 2D, they've drawn them as if they were 3D. It's like little barricades. If you hold them, some alternate options. I like that. It didn't have to, but they did. And, oh, there's another one here, but more importantly, we've got, I like they do this. They only do this exclusively as part of the magazine, but you get all your stratagems and all your stat cards actually in a little punch out, which is nice. Makes it a lot easier to reference and to play. Acolyte hybrids, Aberrants, Neophyte hybrids, and the Makers. But yeah, that's really nice. I like it. It's straightforward, and it's just a little something extra. I put them in because I trade a lot of these combat patrols on. Issue 69. We've got a Rockgrinder. That's not very exciting sprue, but we can already see like the size of the side of the vehicle. Some of the lovely details they've got on like the crew bay and that honking massive bulldozer blade. I don't do a lot of vehicles, but this one's really cool. I got one put aside because I think it'd be very good for larger scale gaslands. So you'll need the frame you receive in the next issue as well. So you get so far with assembly. We've got made a lot of the bits, but this is an actual kit Games Workshop put out that they split down for the combat patrol. Incinerator. So by the looks of it, it's hollow, so you could leave the back panel off and have it as a low bed truck. That's cool. So you see there, that's like a low bed truck, but it's got all the details. Then you put the top half on. Oh my life! That's interesting for a combat patrol. That's a Rockgrinder plate. So yeah, that's a lot of bits, but looks really cool though. Genestealer Cults. Story time for orcs. Oh look. So there are different Genestealer Cult factions. What a better description. They just show some alternate paint schemes. Here, Bladed Cog, I believe, is very Mechanicus. That's a really cool icon. Oh. And the Rockgrinder. Again, you got background for your Rockgrinder. Put your names in, your details. 10 wounds, toughness 10. As it gets damaged, mine's one hit. Nice. Deadly demise, so it explodes. Look at that dozer blade. 6 attacks at strength 10. Cool. More campaign stuff. Gets orcs, space dwarves, and then we get the rest of the Rockgrinder in the next issue, and then we're going to start on the Imperial Guard. So, final one for this month, issue 70. And we got the rest of the bits for the Rockgrinder. So we stack all of these. And look at these teeny tiny little bits. Oh, that's crazy. Got a couple of crewmen. again, we got weapons arm options for them as well, which is nice, as well as they could be mixed in with the standard kit. I'm sure you don't need to put 4 crewmen on. Picture only says 2, so you got some extra guys. There's I love all the like little goggles they've got. That's a very Gorka Morka style autocannon. Cool little hammer. Yeah. So we have got some weapon options, but obviously the magazine will and the instructions will only show us one build. But that's the nature of Combat Patrol. So finally, issue 70. How to paint. So this is nice. I like this. They told you the bits to leave off. They put blue tack on. So when you paint, don't get paint on the joints. Something that when people say they build in sub-assemblies, they don't show you. But things like this great big plate, it's easier to paint without it on. And if you're using undercoat spray, it means you can do different colours. So you could do this all silver, this black, these black, purple, whatever. So base coating, again, we manually paint our undercoat on this apparently, but I'm sure they do. We could do with some new brushes, to be honest, because we haven't had new brushes in a long time. We're asking a lot of them. So this is where how far we can get with the paints they've given us. And again, we'll come back when we get more paints. Yeah, that's really nice. Again, very achievable paint job. I like that. I appreciate that. So details. Again, if we followed the instructions, we'd have done all this. But more Genestealer Cults. So, this is the page that they should include with the cards. So it tells us what they've all armed with, but it doesn't tell us on the cards themselves. You need this page, which I think is a bit of a faff. So 2 batches of hybrids. 5 are armed with auto pistols and firearms. 1 firearm and an icon. Stubber, seismic cannon, Weber. Is that 2 stubber? Oh no, it's 2 things. But yeah, so both squads are armed the same, which is nice because the guard one I believe is different. But it gives us the list, so because with a combat patrol you get basically a set list, but then you can choose your enhancements and things. These are the studio paint jobs. Yeah. Combat Patrol doesn't exist. This one doesn't exist anymore. They've been upgraded to a smaller one, funny enough. But now that we've got them all, we play with the Rockgrinder mainly to show how the vehicles work. Each time you destroy a unit, you get another one. So 3 dwarves, 2 tough dwarves, the boss. Okay, that's nice. And that's how far you get in stage. So again, this isn't a standard scenario. That's kind. Again, someone sat down and wrote that, which I like. And what happens if you win or lose with the Rockgrinder? So, as noted, we get the Cadian Command Squad next. So we're on to, this is it for the Genestealer Cults. And then some more paints, but no brushes. So that's gonna be one you're gonna see everywhere, because these are £9 an issue and they're £3 a paint. So thrown a brush in would have made those a lot more valuable. But I mean, even though the Rockgrinders crossed 2 issues, that's 20 quid. I don't doubt that's 30 quid from Games Workshop. And same with these guys. 10 guys is 35 quid. So they're quite worthwhile. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you had a good festive bit. Do all the YouTube things, do the liking, do the subscribing, but most of all, have fun.